Hello humans and welcome to another installment of FCA Fridays. And today's FCA Friday is going to be me talking about a new concept, or at least a new to me concept, that my library has come up with. Now, if you watch my Melee vlogs, you will already have seen this, but for those of you who are not interested in my not so exciting life vlogs, this is a giant bag, and there's a little tag right here, which let me see if I can angle this up all nicely. But it says Binge Bag, and then it says random for adults, and then down here it says what the genre of everything in this bag is. Now, the bag obviously looks like this, and it has Friends of the Library, which is a library program, like our bookmobile and events for people. It's Friends for the Library. And so there are a whole bunch of these bags, and the other side has the name of my library. But this is, all the bags are big and blue. And what they contain, like I said, this will tell you it's a random assortment and the genre. So everything in here is funny. It's comedic in some way, shape, or form, and they give you a really good variety. This is the first one that I had, and you can get adult mystery, you can get for the family, you can get funny for the family, you can get, for children, folklore for children, all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to go through and I'm just going to show you, and you don't know what you get. It's a binge bag, and what they advertise at my library is they say if you're in a hurry, you're undecided, you just need a large amount of stuff quickly, grab one of these bags. You might not like, everything in there might not be for you, but there's something for you. There's something for everybody in every bag. And I personally am, call me a sucker or just have an affinity for, I absolutely adore anything that's like that, where you get a random unknown mystery box. I'm almost, whenever websites have that, I love Loot Crate for that reason. I love when I go to anime conventions and they have grab bags, I love stuff like that, because it's usually well worth the investment. And for a public library, everything in here is thus free. You just have it for a short time. And I tend to find that I like the excitement. I like the mini adventure that just comes with it. So in this mini adventure binge bag, we have, this is Whistling Past the Graveyard by Susan Crandall. And again, everything in here is comedic or funny. And this says this is a coming-of-age story, as well as a luminous portrait of courage and the bonds of friendship, and it takes place in 1963 Mississippi. And so that's kind of an interesting thing of a young girl who kind of, and this is compared to like To Kill a Mockingbird, as in, there's some young person who's learning about life through a specific series of incidences, and you see the funny and comedic observations of the main character. And I'm not going to be in depth with all these, there's quite a few things in here. This is Boomsday, and it's also, the author is from Thank You for Smoking, and this is kind of an interesting little book because the opening inside has a little bit of that's different. But this is, there's a next great brouhaha generational warfare between the baby boomers and young Americans who don't want to be stuck paying the bill, and how the conflict provokes the most outlandish presidential campaign in American history. So this is a very modern, current 2016 kind of a book. I don't know when this came out, but it's very related to that because obviously there's baby boomers, and I'm guessing that it's like the millennial generation or Generation Y, where they are having, sort of a Civil War thing about it, and it's very comedic and, kind of pranky and antic and hijinks like. Then this is the Rosie Project. This one wasn't for me. This is it's sort of a thing where a person is a questionnaire, and the main character disqualifies Rosie as a potential wife, but is drawn into Rosie's quest to find her biological father. And there's another book called The Father Project. When something like a friendship develops, Dawn must confront the spontaneous whirlwind that is Rosie and decidedly unscientific conclusion that sometimes you don't find love, it finds you. This one was a little bit too romantic comedy and a little too predictable for my taste. And there are some social disagreements, like I don't agree with the main person's point of view of things, which of course causes a disconnect between the reader. But it is for some people, and if you're looking for a light, quick read, and you're not so internally controversial, you'll probably enjoy that one. This is hilarious and the best thing about life. I'm actually going to look this up and buy it when I have regular full employment. This is Cooking Comically. This is recipes so easy you'll actually make them. So the front page obviously shows a stick figure and it looks like a comic book. Now, being an anime fan, this is definitely, if you're an anime or graphic novels fan, this is definitely for you. So this is a recipe. You follow our little stick figure cook around, and like in this little panel it says, get out all the shit you'll need. Pardon the language. And this is obviously for adults. And so there's 3 ingredients, and it shows you in 4 panels how to cook and make this. And it's absolutely hilarious. And there's all these little notes that are in comic book form. So if you're a person who is like me and not into large meals or cooking a whole bunch, then you'll find those to be non-microwave recipes that are easy to do. This is The Flick. I have not read this one. But this says, in a rundown movie theater in central Massachusetts, 3 underpaid employees sweep up popcorn, and they keep in sight of the ceaseless attention to detail. The flick pays tribute to the power of movies and paints a heartbreaking portrait of the 3 characters in their working lives. But apparently there's a lot of funny commentary and observation while going through a real life thing of working in a movie theater and being underpaid and overworked, which I think a lot of people could relate to, and that's a little too realistic for me with my previous jobs. When I'm looking for comedy or when I'm reading, I'm looking to escape reality. So when I read the back of this one, which is all I've read of this one, it didn't catch my fancy enough to read at this time. I also have not read The Parents Behaving Badly. This is a book about sharp satire in the Little League and the shrewd and sympathetic portrait of a midlife marriage. So this one is about groups of families who have all of their children in a Little League group. And if you've never been, my brother was in Little League, and there are parents who just want their kids to play. Like when it's pay to play, they don't care if their kid is good or not. But I feel like I lived this one in real life based on, of course, just reading the inside little epilogue thing, the snapshot. So I didn't want to read that one either. The other books were rather thick, and I had another book that I bought from the library that wasn't a part of this bag that I'm currently reading. This is The Art of Duct Tape. So this is an art book. This is not just general reading. It's called Ductagami, or Ductagami, and it's the art of the tape. 14 projects to make with duct tape. Not a thing for me, but it shows some examples on the back. Like I said, it's not just books. There's also, the rest of this is all DVDs and audiobooks. So if you're not one to read, one thing that I want to start relatively soon, which I think I might start shortly after this video, is Born Standing Up, and this is by Steve Martin, read by Steve Martin on his audiobook. There's another one by Ellen DeGeneres, also read by the author. It's called Seriously, I'm Kidding. Very Ellen DeGeneres type title. This is Garrison Keillor, A Life in Comedy, and I don't know who reads this one, but it's another audiobook. Then there are 3 DVDs. This is the Inside Amy Schumer seasons 1 and 2. I'm not a big fan of Amy Schumer. I find her comedy to be either really dry or really overdone. Like, okay, I get it. Men looked at your boobs. All right. And I'm not a super feminist, so I don't get offended by stuff like that, but I do get over it. Okay, we know. This is called Dinner for Schmucks, and it's by the author of Meet the Parents, and it's called Outrageously Funny, but aren't they all? I haven't watched this one either. I'm not a big fan of movies, to be perfectly honest with you. It's very rare that I get into movies, especially because I like YouTubers, so that's my main form of entertainment. So movies I find to be really long, and I'm very, very picky about the movies that I like. And some movies are too short for the plot line and the character development, which is equally annoying. This is a movie that I've already seen, and it's called Bridesmaids. It's the first time where you see whatever her name is, McCarthy, and who is the main person here? I don't remember. But I've seen this before, and it was okay, but it doesn't have rewatchability for me. I wasn't blown away by it. I don't really like movies that are comedies very often. I prefer TV shows or stand-up comedy rather than movies, because the movie thing, it's like, for me. And that is everything that is in my grab bag. Now, when you do these, at my library anyway, each individual item has to be scanned, because I think that they change out the bags every so often, and so then the bag itself gets checked out, so you can't try and get yourself a free bag. And this little idea came about because they were renovating the library, and so they only had one small conference room to try and put an entire library while the main floor was getting renovated. And so to try and get more things down there, this little binge bag idea was born, and I thought I would share it with you and what I got in it. Like I said, it's a something for everybody. It's not everything for one person. Everyone's not going to enjoy every little bit, but there is definitely a wide range of things. Like I said, there's a cookbook. Not every single one has a cookbook, but this particular one has a cookbook and something for arts and crafts, audiobooks, regular books, DVDs, a whole bunch of stuff. And I was really excited. I saw it, and as I said, I'm kind of a sucker for that kind of thing, so I was like, doo, doo, doo. So I hope you enjoyed this FCA Friday, and I will see you for the next FCA Friday and for the next Maylee vlog, and then Makeup Monday, and subscribe if you want to see all those things. And if you liked it, let me know, because that's fun for me. I will see all of you another time. Join me on the rest of my ventures, humans.